Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here with some entertainment world news for you. YouTubers The Merkins specialize in comedy videos, and they love The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, so much that they wrote a parody of the Guns N' Roses classic Sweet Child O' Mine, and they called it Green Child O' Mine. The vocals are by LA Maybe lead singer Alvy Robinson, and the track's music video features the band Guns N' Helmets recreating the original Guns N' Roses video while wearing Mandalorian helmets with clips from the show mixed in. So I want to run at least part of that for you now so that you can check it out because it's pretty cool. Sticking with Disney Marvel properties, let's talk about the MCU. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Alfred Molina will once again play the villain, Dr. Octopus, in the upcoming Marvel Spider-Man movie. Molina was reportedly spotted on the set of Spider-Man 3, which is currently filming. He, of course, previously played the character in the 2004 Sam Raimi movie Spider-Man 2 during Tobey Maguire's tenure as Spider-Man. Molina is the second actor from a previous Spider-Man franchise to reprise their role for Spider-Man 3, with Jamie Foxx also returning as Electro. So it looks like this movie really is going to feature characters from the Marvel multiverse. For one thing, Alfred Molina has aged, so it can't be the exact same Dr. Octopus. And for another thing, at the end of Spider-Man 2, Molina turned good, and I think he died. His version of Dr. Octopus. So this would be Molina playing, the same man who becomes Doc Ock, but in a multiverse setting, such that he can be from a different universe and not only still be alive, but still be evil. So that'll be interesting. I thought Alfred Molina was, good in the part in 2004, and I do like the Doc Ock character because he is a good person at heart, at least in the movie, and he has a working relationship with Peter, and he's fond of Peter Parker. They did the same thing with the character in the recent Spider-Man game, where he's seems to be a very cool guy. He has a very good relationship with Peter Parker. He's like a father to him, and then he goes a little crazy, but sort of redeems himself in the end, or at least comes back to his senses in the end. So, I like that. I like a redemption story. So we'll have to see what they do with the character if indeed it is going to be in Spider-Man 3, because when he was bad, he was pretty menacing. So, I look forward to, and Alfred Molina is great, right? So I look forward to this occurring if it's actually true. So moving on to DC Warner, or Warner DC properties, I should say. There's a trailer out now for DC's Future State, and it doesn't show too much, but we do get some glimpses at what Future State is going to look like. So I wanted to run that for you real quick, so check that out.
Who are the new heroes carrying on the mantle of old? What has become of the icons? And what new evils will they confront? This is Future State. Destiny of the DC Universe.
So it looks pretty interesting. I look forward to seeing what comes from it. I don't really read comics that much. I used to read comics a long time ago, but I, sort of lost track of what was happening when I missed a few months, and sort of just gave up on superheroes in print. But this might be a reason to pick back up with it. So we'll have to see. But anyway, that's about to happen. I imagine there'll be some kind of animated, films set in the Future State universe at some point in the future. So I'll eventually get to see it. But it does look interesting. So good on DC. They can't do the same thing forever. They've got to change things up every once in a while. And Marvel did it with What If, among other things. So this is kind of in that vein, and I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, there's the trailer. Staying in the world of Warner DC, Cinema Blend is reporting that Arrow's David Ramsey will reprise his role as John Diggle in the CW-verse. While Arrow wrapped its 8th season run in January, the series finale hinted that Diggle's adventures after leaving Star City were only just getting started. Now it's been confirmed that David Ramsey will reprise his role as Diggle in 5 episodes of CW-verse shows across Superman and Lois, The Flash, Batwoman, and Legends of Tomorrow in 2021, and will direct several episodes throughout the Arrowverse or the CW-verse as well. In a statement, Ramsey shared his excitement about his return to the CW-verse, saying, "I remain in awe of the imprint these shows have had on television, and I've been blessed for the better part of a decade to be part of them, both in front of and behind the camera. To say I'm excited beyond belief to return to the show universe would be an understatement. I can't wait to continue telling these stories." Now, while Diggle's comeback is quite exciting, his role in Legends of Tomorrow is perhaps the most noteworthy. Yes, David Ramsey will be playing Diggle, but he's reportedly taking on another kind of role for the time-traveling superhero series that is, at the moment, completely shrouded in mystery. They haven't said what it is. Now, does that mean there's hope that Diggle will finally become Green Lantern, as has been speculated? The fact that the role is being kept a secret does hint at that possibility. Remember, the last viewers saw of Diggle, he and his family were moving to Metropolis to start a new chapter of their lives. But Diggle stopped to pick up an object that seemingly fell to Earth from space. When he opened it, a green light began to glow. The scene suggested that Diggle was about to embark on his next adventure as a Green Lantern. Both Arrow executive producer Mark Guggenheim and David Ramsey have teased Diggle's transformation into Green Lantern, though they've never outright confirmed that it would ever actually happen in the Arrowverse. This would be pretty cool. People have thought that a Green Arrow was going to show up in what was the Arrowverse, what is now the CW-verse, for a while. And, subsequently speculated that it would be Diggle who becomes a Green Lantern. So, I'd like to see it. I like the Green Lantern character, he's a good actor. So, we'll have to see. I'm dubious only because HBO Max is, they're also going to be doing a Green Lantern show. So, I don't know that they'd want to have 2 different Green Lanterns on the small screen at the same time, but who knows. So, we'll have to see. It'll be great to see Diggle back anyway, even if he doesn't become a Green Lantern. But I'd like to see that happen. So we'll just have to, wait and see what happens. In yet more Warner DC news, Linda Carter may soon be appearing in the DCEU. According to Geekosity, Linda Carter could be on the verge of returning to her iconic role of Wonder Woman. Per the Vulcan Reporter, Carter is in talks to play the Amazonian princess in the Flash theatrical film, possibly in a cameo role. This would be amazeballs. I grew up watching Linda Carter as Wonder Woman on TV. I think she's great. I don't think, Gal Gadot has anything to worry about. She is also fantastic as Wonder Woman. This is an occasion where, both people who've played the role on screen have done really great with it and are really great. You don't always get that. Christopher Reeve, I think, is, the Superman preference for a lot of people of my age. And whereas Henry Cavill or maybe even Brandon Routh are the preferred Superman, actor for people of more current generations. But I think both actresses are great. I love Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, and I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. So I'm perfectly happy to see her show up, only as a cameo to reprise the role. It would be awesome. So here's hoping that this is one of those rumors that is true. One last thing I want to talk about would be how Warner Media will soon push even more aggressively into the streaming universe by releasing every single one of its 2021 theatrical release movies on HBO Max simultaneously, in the United States anyway, for a period of 1 month. The plan is to run this experiment for a year, and the movies that we're talking about here are The Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, In the Heights, Space Jam: A New Legacy, The Suicide Squad, Reminiscence, Malignant, Dune, The Many Saints of Newark, King Richard, Cry Macho, and The Matrix 4. Now, a while ago, they announced that they would be releasing Wonder Woman 1984 both in theaters and on HBO Max on the same day. They have since said that they're going to release this, whole slate of movies that I just mentioned the same way, theatrically and on HBO Max on the same day. And this is like a huge thing because, there's just so many moving parts and so many parties that are involved in it. The theaters rely on movies being released to them in order to make money, and movie studios and distributors rely on theaters to be there for them to release their movies in order to make money, historically speaking. Now, with all these streaming services, and in fact with some studios, that normally release movies in theaters owning their own streaming services, in the case of Warner Brothers, which owns HBO and HBO Max, that relationship is changed. And for the most part, the studios have the upper hand because the theaters won't have anything to run if movies aren't released to them. On the other hand, the studios and the distributors have somewhere to go with their movies aside of the theaters. Now, the question is, do they make as much money? Will as many people, watch on a small screen as would watch on a big screen? It's a formula that's worked for them to a certain degree so far, and you can't really gauge it as well, I don't think, in these times of the pandemic, because it affects the way in which people are going to consume things. So maybe 2021 will be a better test of the model once the vaccine comes out and people start to get vaccinated, so we'll have to see. But, there are competing interests, right? Like, I don't go to the movies unless it's a huge, blockbuster type movie with heavy special effects. Your Godzilla vs. Kong, your Wonder Woman 1984, your Matrix 4. I tend to like to see those movies in the theater to get the big screen experience for them. Anything else, like your Mulan, that didn't come out in theaters, but I don't think I would have gone to the theater to see that, even if it had, regardless of COVID, because it's not enough to get me out of the house, to deal with traffic and parking and paying crazy prices for snacks, and, ticket prices aren't exactly low. So it just made more sense to pay the $30 and just watch it at home. I'm going to do the same thing for Wonder Woman because of COVID. I don't want to go to the theater, even though they're saying, oh, it's relatively safe. I'm not having that. I'm not taking the risk. So, maybe they'll re-release Wonder Woman 1984 in theaters at some point in time. Maybe I'll go then, but I'm going to watch that at home. Especially because I already have HBO Max, and they're not charging any more to see the movie. Anything above your subscription. So, other people are different. Other people will say, no, I'm going to go see it in the theater. I don't want to sit at home and watch Wonder Woman 1984 on a small screen. Or I don't feel like subscribing to HBO Max. Or what have you. So, all kinds of things are going to affect this. And one of them is hopefully going to go away. So, in a few months, by the end of next year, hopefully. So we'll have to see where they are, in a year once they start doing this. But I can tell you that the theaters aren't happy because they need movies in order to make money. Warner Brothers will make some kind of money somewhere. I mean, they're of course hoping it'll drive subscriptions. So, and you know, toward that end, they may not even care. I can't imagine this is the case, but it's possible they don't even care whether the specific movies make money. If their long-term goal is to drive subscriptions and to make their platform successful, because that's a long-term, you know, thing that they're trying to establish. They might even be willing to lose money to accomplish that goal. So, like I said before, it's mostly upside for them. They have the advantage. So we'll have to see where that goes, you know, in terms of how they make out. But other people aren't happy either. There are a couple of directors that aren't happy because I guess their ultimate compensation depends on, you know, the gate per their contracts, you know, the box office take. That's the only reason I can think that they would be upset. So, you know, if that's the case, obviously they have an axe to grind, unless, you know, Warner is going to make sure that they make about what they would have made if the movies were released only in theaters. But then are they going to calculate that based on good times for movie theaters or this bad time we're in for movie theaters with the pandemic? I don't know, but this is the thing that has ruffled a lot of feathers. But, you know, it's not something that they just came up with. It goes back a long ways. Movie distributors have wanted to release on streaming services on day one alongside theatrical releases for a long time. The theory being that they're going to make even more money because people who don't want to go to the theater will watch it at home, making them money, and people who don't want to watch it at home will go to the theater, making them money. And of course, again, the ones holding the bag on that are the theater chains, so they've been resisting this kind of thing for a long time. So it's really going to be interesting to see how this all goes. For my part, I'll be watching any of the movies on that list that I intend to see at home. I'm not taking the chance of going to a theater, you know, at least until the vaccine comes out and, you know, we see how that all turns out. But this is something to keep our eyes on as consumers of entertainment. So there you have it. That's really all I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm going to be back when the next episode of Star Trek Discovery comes out, and then after that, of course, I'll be back when the next episode of The Mandalorian comes out, and at any time I could be back with entertainment news. So for now, I'm just going to sign off by saying peace and long life.
Oh.